Happy Monday. We're going to be coming at you hard because Red Dead got delayed for some godforsaken reason. Nintendo had a pretty big week last week, and Kaz Hirai is stepping down as the CEO of Sony. Just Sony, not even a particular, like all of it. We're going to be talking about all of this and more right now in Inventory Full, so don't you go changing.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Inventory Full. Thanks again to the Popcorn Talk Network for essentially sponsoring all of our episodes and putting us on their platform, etc., etc. But we're here live on Twitch. If you don't know, we're live on Twitch. We're live at twitch.tv/InventoryFullPT. That's also where you can see some sweet gameplay from various members at this very table. I'm one of your hosts, the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. Hey, that's Nate Miller.
What's up, nerds? Nate Miller here. You can find me on all social media at Dog Like Nate.
And that's Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hey guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me all over the web at Stacey Shuttles.
So Patrick isn't here. He is away. And he's got his Switch in hand, and I know because he texted me saying, thank you for pushing me to get a Switch, and I can't stop playing Breath of the Wild. And I mean, you can attest, I was playing Breath of the Wild in here while we were just kind of waiting for the show to start. Man, do I love that flipping game. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we're talking about. I've been only playing Breath of the Wild. Last week I mentioned that I was getting ready to face the first Divine Beast. I've taken care of 2 Divine Beasts, and I'm setting up for the other 2. I'm having a tough time getting into Gerudo Valley, though. That is a city of only women, and you have to figure out a way to sneak in. I know exactly how, but where to get the thing to sneak in, bow chicka bow wow, I do not know yet. But I've been loving all of the character work that we've been seeing from the newer characters, the champion characters, and just when I think one is my favorite, then I meet the new one, and then I meet the new one, and then I meet the new one, and I'm taking this game at my own pace. I'm absolutely enjoying it, but that's all that I've been playing. Nate, what have you been playing?
I'm in the same boat as you, as where I've only been playing one game, and that game is World of Warcraft.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, have you been playing that Fighters?
Consuming my life. No, I played a little bit of Fighters. I've been playing with some buddies of mine who have been playing more than me and are whooping me, and which was kind of fun, kind of not fun, also. But yeah, I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting to get a stick before I really get into that game and put the hours in, because the only other experience I have of playing a competitive fighting game of that level and actually playing it enough to be good at is with a stick and pad, not so much gamepad. But yeah, it's on my list. But no, I've just been playing lots of WoW, and the new expansion's coming out, so they announced the pre-order. It became available. The new allied races are out now, which you could play if you've farmed up the rep, which of course I haven't, so I'm spending a lot of time farming. Yeah, it's been fun. I leveled. I got my Demon Hunter to 110. My Paladin's like 109. I'm gonna level my Rogue next. It's been pretty cool.
It's fun to be back in that world.
Yeah, it's nice. It's definitely a different world at the end of an expansion, because like the cost of things are down and it's easier to do most things because demand is lower, and also everybody's like super geared. I walked into a dungeon last night, and this guy basically sold the entire thing just because he just wanted to, and he was just, like, as soon as we loaded in, he was spamming like, don't hit anything, don't heal me, I want to do this all by myself, you'll still get the rewards and stuff, but just please. And I was like, all right, so I just put him on follow, and I was watching Netflix on the other screen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, all right. Very engaging.
But at this point in the World of Warcraft, would you recommend anybody jumping on now?
I mean, if you've never played, it's always a good time to start, I think. Again, like, even though it is the end of an expansion and there probably won't be more new things released, if you haven't played, there's still lots of stuff to play through. Between the old expansions content, even just Legion itself has a lot of content to play. And the nice thing, especially with Legion and the class order halls and the special legendary items you get, each class has a little bit of their own storyline where you manage your own class hall. So even when you're playing through, like, that's one of the things before where I didn't have a lot of alts, because you would, especially in an expansion, would come out and you'd play through all the zones in expansion to get to the level cap, and then you'd go back and just play through the same things again on another character and then another character. But now with Legion, because they have zone scaling, so you can kind of do it in any order you want. You can do any number of the zones you want. But also the class hall missions are nice because it just gives you, it kind of breaks it up and gives you some variety, because you're never going to play the mage class quests, you know, on my warrior. It's never going to happen. And they're kind of different thematically. And especially being a Warcraft lore nerd, a lot of those class halls, it's the whole thing is just a nostalgia trip of like, oh, you're getting all these old rogue heroes, you're getting all these old mage heroes that are like people from the story, unless you're a warrior, and then it's a bunch of random people that we've never heard of before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. If you're interested at all, you can level to 20 for free, and then if you do buy the new expansion, you get a 110 boost, so you can boost one character all the way up to the current cap, which will put you right where everybody else is when the new expansion comes out. You can play through the old stuff and still gear up your character more, or you can just hang out and kind of explore the world until the new stuff drops and then play it with everyone else.
And if you get the new expansion, do you get all of the old expansions with it, or is it?
You know, I don't believe so. I think you have to. I'm not exactly sure how it is right now. They may. I'm sure they have a deal of some sort. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you can get all of WoW up to Legion for like a certain price, and then you will have to pay full price for the Battle for Azeroth expansion.
Sure.
So you don't have to. I'm like 99% sure you don't have to buy each expansion. They've got some type of bundle price. I'm not sure exactly what it is right now.
Okay. Well, I hope that it's easier. It's easy to get into that without having to look at this huge paywall of, I mean, what, 5 expansions?
Battle for Azeroth, Cataclysm, Legion, Warlords of Draenor, Mists of Pandaria, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. So 7. Yeah.
Flip.
Well, 6.
6,
7
new
being
one.
the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's a lot of stuff to play. But I think the big thing with WoW is, like, it's been around for so long. Anybody who's most PC gamers, like dedicated PC gamers, have played it at some point. So I think their model is not like a lot of other people where they're trying to necessarily like get whole
No, I know.
get
I know
new players and stuff in. They're just trying to, you know, get people like me to come back and play the game and experience the new stuff.
Okay. Crap. I was about to ask him a question. Oh, I think I see the mistake. Whoops. Anyway, so for anybody watching after the fact, we're dealing with some technical stuff, and we're just going to keep on trucking on. And if you see us on our phones, that's because we're dealing with the bullshit. Anyway, Stacey, I know you've been playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed because you spent some of, quote, big game day streaming some of it.
I did. I ran around the desert because I just don't football.
I have never football.
It's never been one of the things I've been into. So I played Assassin's Creed instead all day. It's great.
So what have you been doing? A lot of story stuff, or have you been doing fresh biz?
So I hit kind of a combination of both now, and I go into it now with the intent to do more story stuff because I'm enjoying the story a lot and I'm ready to kind of progress with it. And then I'll be moving on to my next location, you know, however far away it is, and I'll get distracted by 16 question marks off in the distance that I have to go and explore before I go anywhere else.
Okay.
So.
But not too much I'm still afraid to jump into Assassin's Creed for fear that I will have another game much like I do right now with Breath of the Wild, where I will want nothing but to play this game, and that one I can take with me, whereas the other one I'll be stuck in front of a television.
Right. Origins, I mean, it's still a hugely overwhelming world. It is massive, and even though you're technically not supposed to go into certain areas until you're a certain level, you can go anywhere you want, whenever you want, which means you get into a lot of trouble because there are some very aggressive people that will chase you no matter what.
Yeah.
If you go into their territory and kill you instantly.
Go ahead.
Oh, but
continue. Sorry.
It's a fun world to run around in. There are little things in all the corners that you don't necessarily expect to find, so there's kind of always something new to explore. The terrain is super varied depending on where you go. Being stuck in the cities is one of the least fun parts of the game.
Okay. Does it still have the tower thing where you unlock towers to sort of lower the amount of bad guy activity?
No. So nothing like that as far as this game goes. There are certain areas that you will go into, but normally in the normal towns, if you're just walking around and it's a regular area, you don't get chased after or looked at twice unless you're causing trouble deliberately. There are certain forts and hideouts, different camps that they have set up, and if you go into those, then instant alert, they're going to come after you.
Okay, so they really did reinvent the sort of Assassin's Creed formula.
Of course, you have the option to attack any passing, guards that you might want to just chase down, even if they're just riding by on their horses. Of course, yelling at everyone to get out of the way and acting superior, so they totally deserve it. Is all I'm saying.
On a similar vein, something that was kind of small potatoes, but we didn't really talk about here. They announced that Assassin's Creed Rogue is getting a Xbox One PS4 remake. Are you interested at all in playing on the Templar side of things?
No.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, I guess so, but I've never been interested in any of the Templar stuff for the most part.
This was supposed to be like more, hey, you want more sailing? Well, here's more sailing. Everybody's on the Xbox One and the PS4. We'll put this on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 so nobody will play it. So as if they just do like a small physical rollout and a huge digital rollout, I don't see why this couldn't be just making up some of the money that they lost for it. Man. Oh, we still haven't, have you done qualifiers for Overwatch yet?
I finished them this weekend.
Well,
did it. I will play competitive with you anytime, anywhere. I want to play more. Like, I want to play more.
What did I say?
Qualifiers.
I
same
understood
thing.
what you meant. Yeah, I went through my placements this
Qualifying
weekend.
your qualifiers. You piece of shit.
I'll go through your placements with you.
Okay, cool. When does Season 8 end?
I'm not
March?
sure. I think so. We've got at least another month going.
It's ridiculous. It's silly, crazy, ridiculous. I've been trying to stay off of the PC just a little bit because I go through phases where I'm just too stuck to it, and then my eyes are really dry and I don't want to do anything. But now that I have a screen that's right in front of my face all the time, almost like a VR screen, who cares? Whatever. So. Let's get moving on with some of the big stories of the week. Before we do, though, we want to let you know about subscriptions. And one of the things that, and we'll push it a couple more times when people are here, that we want to express to you is on Twitch. You can subscribe to us for free if you have a Twitch Prime membership. What's Twitch Prime? If you have a Amazon Prime membership, you log in with your Amazon account into Twitch, you connect that, you log into us, you subscribe to us for free. It helps support the channel and allows us to sort of boost a couple of production things here and there. We're going to be debuting our first new what is it called? Emote soon. That's gonna be Stacey just eyes a light of the world of mountains that she cannot yet climb, but will be able to. She's gonna climb the mountains. So subscriptions can get you that, as well as following. If you can't subscribe, at least follow us so that way you can be aware of any of the new streams that we're going to be offering, whether it's this show or gameplay or any of the other shows that we have planned coming up. And yeah, that it helps support the show, spread the word, tell your friends about us, and let's get more people in the live chat. All right, let's talk about some Red Dead Redemption. Now, they announced a spring 2018 release date for Red Dead Redemption, and as the winter time was slowly turning into spring, did anybody know if Groundhog Day, if we're getting more winter, or if it's spring?
We are getting more winter.
I don't believe in groundhogs.
Is what I have heard.
Groundhogs are a government conspiracy.
I respect that. I respect that very well. Shadows aren't real. Aren't real. What? But yeah, dude. This news, whatever. Like they never gave us a date. There was no real hype behind it. Though I suppose with God of War 4, they didn't announce anything until 2 weeks ago, and now everybody's getting hype about it.
I think there was definitely hype for it, but I think also anybody who is a Rockstar fan and is not surprised for it to be delayed, especially with like spring 2018 is not a date. It's not even like a month, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a season, which could be anything. So for them to push it back further from there, they could have been planning for like late April. That could have been their spring, you know what I mean? And now they're pushing it back 3 months or whatever. So
Get it out before E3, and then maybe announce something new at E3. Though they're never really been E3 people either. So what does this do for your pony riding fantasies in Red Dead Redemption 2? That's a general question, not just to you specifically.
Yeah, honestly, I think we're at the point with a lot of games where they need a little more time. Do you believe in ponies?
I do believe in ponies.
Okay, good.
Ponies
Great.
are real.
Good, we'll come back to that
Then
later.
This will work for you. All right. You know what? I'm at that point. I think if the game needs a little more time, the game needs a little more time. And good on them for being able to push it back a little. And spring is super vague. Like, if you don't kind of expect it to get pushed back a little, then...
Also, they haven't announced for PC, so if this is them pushing it back because the PC version's not ready.
They need to optimize it? Yeah, I'm into that. The game is now slated for release on October 26, 2018, according to Rockstar, saying that the game needs more time for polish. Their statement was, "We apologize to everyone disappointed by this delay. While we had hoped to have the game out sooner, we require a little extra time for polish. We sincerely thank you for your patience and hope that when you get to play the game, you will agree that the wait will have been worth it. We look forward to sharing a lot more information with you in the coming weeks."
Yeah, I mean, that could be the difference between, you know, like Andromeda and the last Red Dead. You know what I mean? Like, even in the last one, like, it was really well polished, and Rockstar are known for their polished games. Like, a lot of the bugs and simple like visual glitches and stuff you really don't get with those games until you get into like the mods and the stuff online. But when you talk about the base games, they're really like rock solid. Every nook and cranny is polished, and there's a detail and stuff like that. So especially for something as big as Red Dead, as long as fans have been waiting, and like it's I don't know, it's weird that they haven't even made as many of those games as they have Grand Theft Auto, but it's still easily like probably just as popular, if not even more, I think, in some people, just because of the actual story in those games. Whereas like the GTA, the story is just kind of like a nice reason to like go do all this illegal stuff, whereas in those games, in the Red Dead games, like especially the last one, John Marston's story is just incredibly told. So I'm excited when it, you know, but I'd rather it be ready than get it sooner.
Do you think that big day one patch for optimization, and they're still like sending the game to print in like April so that everything can be ready by the time they launch, or I suspect a pretty big day one patch regardless, but to have some of the further optimization stuff be a part of that.
It's hard to say. Also, like, I'm really curious about their online thing and how that works. And is it the online that needs to be more polished, or is the single player just need to be polished and they'll just put that out, but the online player is going to need some more time? Like,
You want a wild prediction? Switch version.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
I mean, we're seeing what's possible and what works for Switch, and it's a lot more stuff than people expected.
And a lot of people were suspecting that L.A. Noire was a sort of, well, how does some of our engines work on Switch, and how well can we optimize it with how pretty it can be? Can it match up to the Rockstar quality? Of course, this is all conjecture, but ultimately,
It's a big word.
Thank you. It's not a lot of words, but I appreciate it because it's one word.
I said it's a big word.
Yeah, and I said words instead of one because I'm tired. But
It's a beautiful exchange.
thank you. All right, so a little bit of news that came out today is that according to a source from within Capcom, they have laid off 50 people, around 50 people laid off from their Vancouver office, which was which is going to be responsible for the next Dead Rising. It made them cancel an unannounced project that was in very early prototype phase, hadn't even been greenlit, but it was like a third-person action in some alternate version of New York. But The source who spoke anonymously, this is all according to Kotaku.com, they mentioned that they laid around 50 people. They laid off around 50 people as part of a reorganization aimed to streamline the company to wrangle the next Dead Rising, which had been overscoped and understaffed. Stop me if you've heard that one before. And per LinkedIn. Great sources here. According to LinkedIn, Capcom Vancouver had around 250 employees, so about 1/5 of the workforce at a studio. A lot of people that are looking for work that we really hope find it, but ultimately, this is the same studio that did Puzzle Fighter, which is mobile, which I play and is really fun, but needs a little bit more expansion on that. But good luck getting that. But regardless, Capcom hasn't commented on it yet. But what is an overzealous Dead Rising game look like to you, Stacey?
Overzealous?
Like what is an overreaching? Like what could Dead Rising do to be like, oh, we're going too far with this?
Dead Rising Online.
I suppose,
It's easy.
yeah.
Put them. You just make it a big, multi-tiered world with a bunch of malls, and craftable items, and your own character that has some crappy stat trees that do different things that you eventually all get, so they're all the same. Throw a bunch of other people in there with you to build crazy zombie-killing weapons, and
Dead Rising as a service.
Dead Rising Online. Yeah, like there's literally no reason for them not to do that, unless they're gonna do Dead Rising Battle Royale. There's like, no one wants to play a Dead Rising game.
Just in general, nobody wants to play Dead
General-
Rising
just
anymore.
a general standard Dead Rising. Do they really?
Nobody wants a bog standard Dead Rising game.
Like, come on, like, let the series go.
Let it die.
Move on. Bigger and better things.
I don't know. I was never a big fan of those games, so maybe I'm not the person to ask. I liked the first one for a few hours, but then, yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's why I asked Stacey about it. And then I was going to get to you after that. Piece of shit. Yeah, cry. Cry like Tom Brady, anyway.
Too soon.
What are you too soon?
No, I don't.
Not too soon. Still
I
brutal.
hate the Patriots.
At my family's Super Bowl party, one of my uncles said, "I want to see Tom Brady cry," and I said, "I will do you one better. I want to see Bill Belichick get struck by lightning." Still hasn't happened yet, but it's because it was played indoors at a Stadium of the Future in Minneapolis. Man, who cares? Anyway,
What's a Super Bowl?
what is a
Football.
superb owl? Speaking of sports, there's a new fighting game coming out. This was fun. So back in the day, a little television program known as My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, seasons 1 through 6, available now on Netflix, got pretty popular with the internet community.
For better or for worse.
For better or
That's an
for worse.
interesting way to explain that.
Yeah.
It got
was the nice
did or
way
did
of
it not
putting it.
get popular with the internet
You are
community?
technically not wrong.
The internet community, a vast and multicultural community that we're all a part of.
White bros wearing fedoras, telling them about their. Well, no, I was going to say Gemsona, but that's a different thing.
Bronies?
Bronies.
Wrong
Yes.
fandom.
Yeah, wrong fandom. I'm sorry. So a group of fans, a group of game developer fans started to create a My Little Pony fighting game based on the franchise. Now, this was shut down very quickly by Hasbro, the company that owns My Little Pony. So they retooled it, they reskinned it to a game called Them's Fightin' Herds. And we have a trailer for you.
This one I thought it couldn't get worse.
We have a trailer for you. The developing company, of course, being Main 6. It's a joke, get it? But it's coming out with Humble Bundle. So we've got some of the reskin there. There's a llama. It looks like a ewe, like a sheep.
This is really towing the line.
A deer, a cow, a steer, a flame dragon pony, and then an evil unicorn with a story mode, arcade mode, survival, training, target, dynamic music. But it looks combo heavy. What?
Cute
Pixel
creatures
lobbies,
and-
dress up, explore, and fight. And they have a break the targets mode like in Smash Brothers,
Okay.
with more content coming after launch.
Mark, I might jump on board with this.
No.
With you.
Stop.
With
For
me.
the novelty of it. I'm not
Look,
going to do it by myself.
So here's the thing.
Can't
Like,
wait to
I
talk
was-
about this in 10 years as like a
failure?
as like a trivial Remember when those guys made that game?
Right,
Sure.
but I would like to have played it so that I could just remember that experience.
So it's coming out on Steam February 22nd. It's going to be also a part of Humble Bundle, which means it might come out for, like, you could probably get it for a lot less than they're going to sell it for on Steam, which will be the perfect time to get
Give
it.
that game to me for free.
Well, too bad, because I'm gonna. Whether you play it or not, that's up
Watch
to you.
out for that gift.
So owners of Blade Blue Central Fiction, that is how you say it. It's awful. Guilty Gear, XRD, Rev 2, or Skullgirls Second Encore unlock items for the game's lobby. So it's mentioned that you can dress up your animal, whomever.
Your pony,
dress up your ponies
say it.
for the game's lobbies. Actually, can you go back to the credits section that was near the end? Because I saw there's a name on there. No, keep going, like that. Yeah.
Developed by Mark Donica.
Are you kidding? I would make
the secret is out.
Yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? But the fact right there, characters designed by Lauren Faust.
Yeah, it is.
Lauren Faust is the creative juggernaut behind My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. So it was totally a studio thing that I didn't know that until looking at this right now, that she was a part of designing the new characters. So it still kind of stays in the community if you are a member of the My Little Pony community. Introducing Woof, Ruff, Tuft, and Puff. That sounds adorable. The music was pretty... Fighting the Unspeakable as himself. Gearbox and Z Engine. I'm interested because I used to play a lot of Mugen, like Geobox. Oh, Geobox. Oh, goodness. Yeah, thank you for that. Was stupid. Paprika Paka. That's adorable. I presume that's the llama character. Either way.
This goes against everything that fighting games are supposed to be.
What is please tell me what fighting games are supposed to be.
Netplay powered by GGPO.
Get grandma's popcorn out of here. But what are fighting games supposed to be?
Masculine, testosterone-filled violence bouts.
So we have violence, just because. Well, we don't know the gender of the animals. Presumably, they are all female. They're still beating the living crap out of each other. You want violence? There's no blood, but like if you want bloody madness, you go to Mortal Kombat. Like I think this is a nice indie alternative for people to like. Oh, I don't have enough money for Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Or Fighters, whatever. We're still the jury's still out on that.
No, it's Fighters.
It's Fighters.
Yeah.
But I've got $5 to throw at this Humble Bundle and get this weird pony game. Thank you, Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a personal problem. I don't know. I just feel like if you want a fighting game, there's so many good, like actually good, polished, balanced, competitive fighting games, and instead of any of those, you're gonna play this.
We don't know we don't know how polished it is. We don't know how balanced it is. This game started being then you're making excuses for a game you haven't played yet.
I'm not making excuses. I'm making complaints. And yes,
about
you're correct.
A game that you haven't played
right,
yet.
But I just watched the footage. It's a 2D fighter that literally the only unique draw is that it's a knockoff of My Little Ponies.
Have you
need.
True. Have you ever played a fighting game featuring quadrupeds?
No.
That's another thing.
Because they don't fight like that. They bite each other and they kick each other. They don't.
So you're gonna tell me that
they don't punch
a hell beast, a man who was killed by a man who could freeze the area around him, was sent to hell and came back as a specter of revenge. That can happen. There's a level of silliness to all of this biz, and again, it's something where, is this a $60 game? No. But there are a lot of $10, $5, $20 indie games that people play for a month or two, and that's that.
I'd rather spend $10 on Mortal Kombat 2.
Cool. Enjoy it. Stacey and I are going to be playing Them's Fighting Herds.
The name alone.
Them's Fighting Herds.
Really, it's awful.
That's one for Robbo there.
Horrific.
Yeah, that's like
that's one for Robbo.
He's on that marketing team.
Yeah.
This is what he's been hiding from me for months.
Well, really quickly, what the hell is going on in the background? Who is on the right?
That is quite a pony. What the heck?
I believe there's some kind of sheep.
There's
making
also
some
sheep
kind
on-
of painting.
There's also a sheep on the
There's
left.
you
something
got that.
wildly
And
inappropriate
then
about
back
that game.
behind that,
There's
And I just haven't figured it out yet.
wildly inappropriate about the
horns
fandom.
and a sign. I
Right,
can't
that's
make
what
out
I'm
the
saying.
sign.
That's what I'm saying.
That
Like,
pony's gonna sex you up.
it's not. It would be different if like, it was like, I don't know if I could. I don't know if this is a good comparison, but like X-Men, where like it's written for kids, but there's still an adult fan base and they're into it. But like,
Okay.
it's just the whole fandom around this is just weird, and I think that's what's putting me off.
Okay,
to it,
and
'cause
that I can
yeah.
understand is because there are
there's-
definitely members of the community that take it way too far.
Yes, and it's
There are
they're
others-
all
Nicely.
related,
It's-
right?
Putting it very nicely, there are also people who
And-
enjoy watching cartoons, and this fits with cartoons.
That watching My Little Pony.
Bee and Puppy Cat. That watch.
No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about My Little Pony.
Then we're getting into like gender normativity.
No.
and- yes, we
No, it's-
are.
I'm not talking.
There's a
no,
preconceived
no, no,
notion
no,
that My
no,
Little
no,
Pony
no, no,
is
no,
for
no,
little
no.
girls.
I'm not talking about. I'm not even talking about age.
I'm not talking about age either. I'm talking about.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm talking
I'm not
about
talking
women
about
watching
gender.
it.
I'm talking about age.
Okay.
If you're a little boy and you're watching My Little Pony,
Okay.
sure. If you're a kid and you're watching Y7 kid content,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're a fully grown adult and you're watching My Little Pony and you're a super fan and you like it so much you decided to code your own fan game so you could get the little ponies to fight against each other, I just think there's something, a little nefarious there somewhere deep down.
So to that, I can see where you're going with that. On top of that, I think if it was just about that, they would have stopped developing the game. But they went. We have something with this engine. And
I don't know, man, because the Bronies fan base has been going on for years now. Years. It like this wasn't like just a recent like 2014 meme. Oh, now like guys are getting like older adult men are getting into My Little Pony though. This was like 2002, like 2004. Like this has been around for a long time. So I don't know. I think to me it's even weirder that they would come and say like, no, you can't do that. You gotta shut that down. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Change the color of the ponies and redesign them. But hey, I mean they must I see what you're saying that there must be something to it. They must really like it for them to have gone through all this extra effort to still get it published and still put it out there.
It kind of reminds me when a certain game called Clay Fighter came out. And
How parodious of
I think
it.
that was, because that was like Mortal Kombat, but then that was back when it was Mortal Kombat 2 just came out for the Super Nintendo, and then the rating system came out.
That makes sense.
Like it was already out, and that was already labeled in there, and so.
I just don't like gimmicky games. I don't like
so.
and I think maybe it was the way you described it to me.
Yeah.
Like if I had not known about that before, and it
That's
was
what I was
just like
going to
a
ask.
pony fighter.
If it was just, hey,
I'd
here's
still
this,
be off-put
here's
by
this
it,
like
but I
on
wouldn't
the
be-
on the farm fighting game.
yeah, I probably wouldn't be anti it. But
Yeah, I do think a lot of kind of the hesitation towards this game is because of what that fandom has put itself out there as and what we have seen from it before. And yeah, sometimes the intentions are not so good, and that's been a kind of prevalent factor with this thing. It's been a constant source of pushback between the audience this is intended for, and you know what, sure, enjoy what you want to enjoy, but there were some big problems. There was
Agreed.
a lot of taking it too far, and so to approach that and look at, well, this is the fan base that came from, and there are some great people in that fan base, and there are some not great people in that fan base that, you kind of got to look at it real closely.
And I mean, even the fact that the brand would see it and would say, all right, you can't do that, like that to me speaks volumes, and because it's not like a licensing thing or like we like that idea, we're going to do something like that, or just take out the blood or tone down the violence or something, but a complete cease and desist to me.
That seems like, Nintendo taking down another Metroid 2 remake. Like this one, the show being a kid show and being about friendship and not about them beating the shit out of each other. That makes sense to me for a cease and desist. A little bit more
because it's against with the brand image. Basically.
Yeah, but I still agree
what you're
with
saying.
all y'all.
Yeah,
So so ultimately, I didn't think we were going to be talking as nearly as long as we did about this topic. But my hope is that this can outlast the stigma of, this used to be
Hopefully
a My
it's
Little
good.
Pony game.
Hopefully it's good.
Because it reminds me a lot of like the snappiness of and you're gonna lambast me, but I played the game a lot. So in terms of how snappy the attacks and the changeovers of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And not necessarily the tagging in and out, but the quick combos, the launching and the beam and the this and the that. It reminds me a little bit of the snappiness. Maybe, I mean, again, I don't have it in front of me. I haven't played it or any of that. But interesting. Let's move on, because that's just a whole bunch of ridiculous. Nintendo had a hell of a week, didn't they? Oh boy, so they finally announced their plan for their subscription service, which is called the Nintendo Online Subscription Service, or NOS, if you're a loser. They confirmed that this September, you will be able to pay for various degrees of time for the subscription service. It will allow you to play online, as well as get you a, quote, compilation of classic titles each month, such as Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight, or Dr. Mario, to use Nintendo's examples. So, but unlike PlayStation Plus and Xbox One, or Xbox Live Gold, once the month is up, that's it. Until those games come back into rotation, you do not have access to them. Now, the pricing is a lot more reasonable than Sony and Xbox, being for $4 a month, $8 for 3 months, or $20 a year, compared to the other two $60 a year. They did announce that they are going to be including some new online features to these updated versions of the classics, including leaderboards and multiplayer where applicable. But on top of that, $20 a year for I might be able to play Mario Bros. 3 for a couple days out of the year. Maybe they've only announced original Nintendo stuff and some 16-bit stuff, but nothing for like GameCube or even Wii or anything like that, or N64. But I figure that'll be a part of it, and if they add that to it, who knows? But we have an outline for this. Me speaking to two non-Switch users, does this announcement do anything for you?
I mean, it kind of sucks to see Nintendo finally give in to the paid online thing, but I don't know. It's interesting to see how it plays out. I think the only reason why it's so cheap now is because their game library, as far as like online stuff, is still really small, so it's really hard to justify the like $20 a month, $15 a month that the other ones are charging. And I definitely think as soon as there are more games come on Switch with online play, I think the price will go up. Probably not for a year or so, maybe, but I think it will 100% go up when Smash comes out, when all the other online competitive games start coming out for Switch. I think when more developers start to realize how powerful the console is, I think it'll definitely go up.
Well, that's one of the things about this announcement, is people were suspecting that the delay of the announcement of the subscription service meant that they're trying to tie it with a big online release. Do you think that we're getting Smash Brothers with the subscription service in September?
Don't tease.
Whether that's Smash 4 remastered or it's with an announcement of, much like we got at the Game Awards of Bayonetta, hey, all 3 Bayonettas are coming to the Switch, the first 2 are coming out in a month, and then in a year or so.
If they do a remastered Smash 64, Melee, Brawl, and 4.
All 4?
Yeah.
The Smash Compendium?
No.
For $60?
Just take my money.
I would buy a Switch
I'd buy that for $80.
Yeah.
Easy.
No, I literally would buy a Switch for that. That would be... Put it in a Switch bundle.
Sold.
You got me.
Instant sold. Yeah,
special colors,
you got me, Reggie.
Joy-Cons?
That would be like the final catalyst.
I need the extra large. I need a...
The
what I need is the...
The Pro Controller.
They have
They have Pro Controllers.
Yeah.
They're like $70, but it's bad. But it's
Put it in the bundle.
But it's the best controller. Yeah, the Pro Smash
That's right.
bundle.
It's got my name all over it. The Nate bundle.
Stacey, what do you think about the switching out of the classic titles?
I think it's an interesting idea. I think it'll kind of possibly get people to play some of the older stuff that and especially the newer players coming in to kind of get a chance to go back and play stuff. I don't know how I feel about them getting rid of it completely once it's gone. Although I guess that's always kind of been a luxury, like with PlayStation. Yeah. For me, like, be like, oh, no, this is mine until I don't have Plus anymore.
I think it's also good to incentivize people to actually play it also, to have it on that rotation of like, oh, what's coming out? Oh, this is going to be playable for this time. Oh, this is going away. Let me play it for a little while before it goes away, kind of a thing.
Can speak to that.
Because I had that PlayStation Plus thing too, and had all those games, and I don't think I ever replayed any of the old stuff.
That's the thing is something comes in like, oh, I always wanted to play that. You download it, you never touch it again.
I think I got like 6 things on my PlayStation right now.
And there's a bunch of things on Xbox since I haven't re-upped my gold for a couple of months now. But there's just a couple of things that, oh, you can't play that because you don't have gold. Okay, then I won't play it. I don't care that much about it. But I agree with both of you. I think this will incentivize people to actually play the stuff that they get, and maybe even try some stuff, because they're really pushing Balloon Fight. It's not that great, but if they add a competitive online 2-player Balloon Fight, that's weird and interesting. Speaking of competitive, Mario Kart Tour coming to mobile in 2019. No announcement of what that means, but it's expected to be released sometime in the next fiscal year, which ends March 2019.
Please
Mario
be
Kart.
a real Mario game and not a mobile Mario game.
Well, it's
you get a certain number of races a week, but you can buy energy boosts to gas up your cart. Please, 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 please.
Just put the $sign on it. I think that mode is the trial, is the free version. But if you, like with Mario Run, if you pay $5, okay, here's the whole game.
I'd pay $10 for a
A good mobile Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to beat Mario Kart 8, other than the barrier of entry, of course, of not having a Switch. Mario Kart 8 on the go.
Really low barrier of entry.
Very low barrier of entry of $360
to run the game.
But being able to go anywhere with the fully optimized version of the game and have wireless connectivity, whether it's through Wi-Fi or just Bluetooth connection, is remarkable. And this is the only way that they can improve on that, is to give that ability to everybody on their mobile device. I just want more information. Speaking of more information, last year there was a report that Nintendo was going to be partnering with Illumination for a Mario movie. Illumination, of course, being the folks behind Despicable Me, Minions, Secret Life of Pets, Universal's sort of animation Pixar, only in terms of they're a good go-to animation house for them. Not that they make Pixar quality films. Have you seen Minions? You'll know what I'm talking about. But it got confirmed this past week. Yeah, Minions, come after me. I'll throw a banana in a fucking grenade pit.
No,
I don't know.
no.
But Shigeru Miyamoto will...
Did you just have a stroke?
No, because Minions like bananas. I'll throw the banana into a grenade pit and they'll explode.
My question is, what's a grenade pit?
That's a need to know.
Don't admit that you have that information.
People keep grenades in pits?
Here's why I saw the Minions movie. The name of my...
We don't need to.
I dragged my wife to Mad Max, and she was like shaken. So it was like, okay, we'll go see Minions.
An eye for an eye.
Yeah, eye for an eye sort of a situation. But
and then after that, she was more shaken. She was a terrible
That
mistake.
makes it worse. Would watch Mad Max any day.
Before it was like,
travesty.
and then it was like, different sort of uncomfortable laughter. Thank you, anonymous crowd. But according to Reuters, the feature-length film will be distributed by Universal. No release date has been decided, but Shigeru Miyamoto will co-produce alongside Chris Meledandri, the CEO of Illumination. This seems like a win-win. They've gone to the last time they went to a French company, it resulted in Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is still selling pretty damn well on the Switch. So what? Go ahead. Yes.
I mean, when you're one of like 8 games,
Jerry Louise.
It's not that hard to be on the top 10 list.
Savage.
I'm just saying, if they had XCOM for Switch, I don't think Mario Rabbids would be selling that well.
They did have XCOM for Switch. It's called Mario vs. Rabbids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's.
But this seems like a. First of all, it's a deepening of the relationship between Nintendo and Universal. But second of all, this seems like a no-brainer and a winner. What do y'all want to see from the Mario movie?
I don't.
Stacey, what do you want to see from the Mario movie? That's your Duke Nukem of the week.
Princess Peach being a badass.
Nice.
I don't know, like just no more passive princesses.
Sure. No, agree. Which is why you need to play Super Mario Odyssey. But
once I get that very small barrier.
Yeah.
Once I leap that.
Just spend $300 on console and
fine.
call it a night.
I want a remake of the '80s Mario. I want them.
It's just an
to
animated remake of
only pull
Mario
from
Brothers?
that. Yeah, not from the games. Oh god, the movie was so good.
Do you think? Do you think, and two, how annoying will it be if Mario is fully voiced by Charles Martinet? Like, how long will that last?
Does he talk in the games, or he just make?
He has some
Like
lines
the
here
Mickey Mouse
and
noises.
there. And there are a couple of games where he has a little bit more dialogue. Yeah, it varies, but he also does
I feel
appearances.
Like it'd be a really boring movie if he said like 8 lines throughout the whole movie. Unless they write it really well and it's like funny that he like never gets to talk or something. But that seems like incredibly complicated and something that they wouldn't go for a Mario movie.
Maybe, who knows? One of the most iconic characters in general in the world.
I just want it to be. Ideally, it just has to be written really well. We just need a good story because that's the problem. Is like the traditional Mario story is just not that good. It's just very generic. We've seen it 1,000 times. So if they can get a really good writer with some great dialogue, I'm in. If we can get something that's like Shrek, or like it's obviously made for kids and very joyful for kids, but there's like, there's some smartness to it. There's some other jokes that the kids they just fly over their heads, but the rest of it's like, oh, that's great, because like. That's going to be their target demographic, but still, Mario's been around for years, and a lot of his fans, their biggest fans, are adults, fully grown adults with kids of their own. So it'd be nice to have one of those movies, like, for lack of a better example, Shrek, where you can go take the kids have a great time, and you also have a good time. Like, that's what I want. I don't want something in the middle where it's like they either try to play too much to the older crowd and it's just like super
inappropriate.
Like, or they play too much to the kids and it's just like so boring and dull because it's made for 8-year-olds.
I can see that. Do you want any? Who are we voicing? Is it Charles Martinet, or do we got?
Gonna be so many cameos.
Ray Liotta. Do we have?
I'd like to see Christopher Walken do the voice of Bowser.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Why the hell not?
The Princess Peach.
Ultimately, just because I wanted you to do some version
Awful.
of
Christopher Walken.
I didn't say awful.
I haven't
You
watched
did.
enough.
And
Your
here, I
words.
think you should do it
Boardwalk
again.
Empire in a while. No.
Yes.
It was a one time. The spirit flew through me.
Well, he's not dead.
He's off to the
he's
next.
not. Whoops.
Stacey, do you want like the full Mario cast, like Toad, Luigi, Waluigi, Daisy? I don't know why I went Waluigi before Wario, maybe because he's a better character. But
And
what?
Yoshi.
And yeah, oh god.
Yoshi is a must. I think if we're gonna go for it, go for it. Make it some. I mean, let's keep using Shrek as an example. Give us the giant ensemble cast that does ridiculous things in the background. Make them an interesting part of the plot, or their own little side plots going on.
Or, you know what I think would be cool? Is to get some type of plot progression in the Mario world. What if it's not it's a Mario movie, but Mario's not the lead character. It's Mauricio, Mario and Peach's son or daughter or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like they introduce a new character where you have to save Mario or something like.
And that's why he can talk, and Mario's not in it, so he doesn't have to talk.
Or he
and
does talk, but you only see him a couple times.
Yeah.
It's that kind of a thing.
Like he trained me how to break blocks
You
as
still
a kid.
run around with your Uncle Luigi or whatever. And,
Lame Uncle Luigi.
Yoshi's
I'm
all
sorry.
old and has Yoshi kids. I don't know.
Boo!
I think that would be cool
Smoking.
to do some type of like a new chapter kind of a
Like
thing.
a new Super Mario
Yeah.
Brothers. Wait, damn it.
Hold on.
Sorry, take
Super
it back.
New Brothers Mario.
We're the brothers.
Mario Jr.
Yeah, I think you guys
That's
are
probably
onto
you kind of
something.
have to. I guess you kind of have to call him
Mario Jr.
Alright.
You can't really
Mario the Second.
call him Junior.
Interesting.
It's a me, Mario Jr.
That was kind of robotic,
it's
but it
right.
worked.
Right.
It worked out pretty well.
I gotta polish it.
Yeah,
I'm working on my audition tape for the movie.
good. Going for Peach?
No, I'm gonna try to be the Hat.
Oh, Cappy.
Yeah, that's
Cappy's
the
really
evil
annoying.
soul possessing demon,
The yokai.
interdimensional old god that is Cappy.
The interdimensional old guy. Just
You're not
staring
wrong.
at the Cappy
puts his
logo.
essence into anything and becomes it after he fuses with Mario.
That's a Japanese myth. There's a Japanese spirit in Japanese mythology where it like sort of takes the spirit of one thing and lives through it. Yeah, it's weird that they went really cultural with it, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm a frog now," and it's like nobody gets it.
I'm still not sure if so. Like, do Cappy and Mario become one, or does Mario?
It's like a parasite
in
situation.
Cappy?
It's sort of like a parasite situation.
But is Mario the parasite? Because the cap is what's going from person to person, right? Or object to object.
It's sort of like a contract situation where by putting Cappy on, some of Mario becomes a part of Cappy, so that Cappy can then project Mario into whatever he puts his hat on.
Just got
Yeah.
kind of dark.
No. It's a big part of it. It's like the second level. There's like all these big contracts. You're like in a cage with like.
So what does
dark
Cappy
fire.
get out of
Look,
this
if I
deal?
learned anything from Magical Girl animes, you don't sign contracts.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Is that for the second game? Is it find
Yeah, it's
out
the sequel.
Cappy's Revenge.
Oh no!
Now that I own you, Mario.
I've spoiled the ending. I'm excited about this just because I wonder what the hell they're gonna do.
I'm
And if the
cautiously
minions will make
excited.
a cameo.
It could be really
No.
cool, but it could also just be like unspeakably awful.
I wonder if this will be out in time for Super Nintendo Land's release in Japan for the 2020 Olympics.
No.
So it's possible. Who knows how much? If this has
No.
been talked about since November last year and it's February,
No.
they have concepts. And Illumination you're going to keep saying no, and I don't care, so I'm
Yes.
going to keep talking.
It's an animated movie. They take forever to make.
If it's in the same engine,
Forever.
2 years they can do it.
And remember, also they have to do the audio. They have to do like 8 different tracks for all the different languages.
No, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's animation
It's not
takes
like they
a
recorded all
long
at the
time
same
to
time.
make. So if they were like, "Oh, we're almost done," yeah, sure, it'll be out by 2020. But if they're like in
Or-
pre-production still, if they haven't even started, if they're still kicking ideas around and like they haven't cast anyone, they haven't done any test animations, at least 2 years. 2 years is
So we'll get a
super conservative.
trailer at the release.
Yeah.
That's more like.
Or maybe at the end of the year, like it'll open, and at the end of the year, their first major event will be something tied into the movie. Maybe at the end of 2020, maybe. But
Maybe. Who knows? Last thing we're going to talk about, I suppose kind of quickly because we're essentially out of time. Kaz Hirai is stepping down as the president of Sony
it's crazy.
as effective April 1st, but it's not a joke. The company announced that he will be
Can you
replaced.
imagine getting that memo? All right, we're gonna need you to step down. When? April 1st. Nice guys. No, we're not.
Sorry.
We're being very serious.
This is Yoshida Kenichiro. He is your replacement. Hey, what's up? I'm Yoshi.
What's up, man?
He's currently Yoshida Kenichiro is currently the executive deputy president and chief financial officer of the company, and will be taking his place as his replacement. According to Sony, Hirai played a pivotal role in elevating the industry to a hugely significant genre, while at the same time making Ridge Racer making the PlayStation brand synonymous with exceptional gaming and entertainment. He later became the president of the Networked Products and Services Group at Sony, and in 2011 assumed the responsibility for all of Sony's consumer electronic products and services, its global software, sales, and marketing and design platforms. Now, for a big move like this to happen, the company's got to be feeling pretty good in terms of we can handle a big shift in leadership in this. They've got to be feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, unless it was a panic move of something needs to change, like there's something we don't know about. I know. I see what you're saying. I'm just saying that the alternate is also true. Sometimes companies make big changes like that because they have to. They're in a bad situation. Not that this is the case, but we don't know. Sony's not super open
Yeah.
like that.
I think the April 1st deadline, that's far enough in the future to kind of suggest that it's more on the confident
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, that makes
It
sense.
doesn't seem terribly hurried because they could be like, oh yeah, starting next month or, in a week.
Effective immediately. Kazuo Hirai is
He is
thrown into a
moving
grenade pit. But
You and these grenade bits. Do we
these-
need to have a talk after the
these,
show?
it's just one. And you'll never find it.
Pardon me.
You'll never find it. But I like that. I like the idea that this shakeup, it could be just Kaz not having anything left to prove. You know, we don't know if he's necessarily retiring from the industry. He certainly can, but maybe this is like, oh, I'll go into like just shovelware tech or whatever, or mobile or whatever, and just figure myself out again, because I've been a flippin' CEO for 7 years.
Yeah, we might see the start of a new era for them too.
Sure. Like it could just, this change of leadership could be what Sony needs to just kick them into. Oh, by the way, here's a piece of technology that you never thought would exist.
Yeah,
and
or
Sony
a game
did it first.
or something like
that.
Yeah, because it's been a while since they've done anything groundbreaking. I wouldn't say that they have declined, but they haven't really. They've kind of stagnated, in my opinion.
I mean, ever since they created the industry standard of the Blu-ray player, they.
Yeah, but there was a lot of politics behind that also, and the HD DVDs and. They are not solely responsible for the Blu-ray player.
They were one of the main early adopters,
they are definitely instrumental in
and are reaping the benefits as a result. So
sure.
As tech starts to change and higher,
but how long ago was that? That's like the last big.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of
victory that
consumer products, how well do Sony curved monitors and curved TVs sell versus others? We don't know.
Right.
They abandoned the Vio PC line just for some sort of tablets, which I'm so mad at.
Do they make phones still? They still have the Ericsson?
They still make phones. They still make phones. They're not a major player in the phone market, but they still make them. So it's what maybe
like they're definitely reliable products. You know, my dad has been a Sony headphones guy since like before I was born. So there's definitely, you know, Sony as a company is still a massive company. So for me, I'm speaking really just from the gaming side in terms of lack of, you know, groundbreaking innovation or anything like that. Again, it's not a negative thing. It's just, I think you put it perfectly. The Blu-ray player, that was a big thing for them. That was like in the battle between PS3 and Xbox 360. They won that because no one cares about being able to play HD DVDs. Yeah, you can play Blu-rays. So and
Blu-ray becoming the format of gaming as well.
Right. After that, it doesn't it didn't really feel. I don't feel like there's been any big like, wow, Sony did this kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I think a little bit more widespread VR, maybe.
I don't know. I don't personally.
A little bit more consumer friendly,
them, so I don't know.
But them being able to create consumer, like them being pro VR before VR, like VR was VR, like they had a gaming headset.
The Move and
not even just the Move, but they had a gaming headset that is essentially the PSVR now, but it would just have the game screens on the inside, and it's just, you don't need a TV. You're just it's just a fully immersive experience. And then they applied VR technology to it. So best of luck, Yoshida Kenichiro. We're looking forward to see what you can do, and I think as a CFO, you have plenty to offer the Sony Corporation.
I'm excited to see
as we wrap up here, hey Stacey, are you going to be playing more of that Assassin's Creed? What are you going to be doing this week in the realm of gaming?
I'm going to be playing more of that Assassin's Creed. I am also going to start Tokidoki Literature Club this
No,
week.
you're not, are you?
I'm doing it. I downloaded it. I'm going to stream it.
All right.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I just know
it's weird.
So
Hashtag shit's fucked up hospital.
That is basically all I know about it. I have no idea how. I am very excited to find out and slightly terrified.
Perfect.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. If I didn't get all kind of like snotty and stuff, I definitely would have played a little bit more getting over it. I also got a last minute call about something that I'll mention when it's my turn. But Nate, what are you going to be playing?
More WoW. Got a few more classes to finish leveling and experience that out. Probably play some PUBG and get some League in. But yeah, just the usuals. Kind of taking it easy. There's nothing really major coming around the corner.
It's still pretty light right now. Like, despite being in the middle of a couple of huge releases of Monster Hunter World, Dragon Ball Fighters, and then
it's light, but there's still a lot of stuff to play.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff to catch up on.
I'm trying to learn fighters, right? I'm catching up on the WoW stuff, and then eventually I do still want to get Origins, and I want to get
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Nazi shooter game.
Play it.
Yeah, ever since really getting into Breath of the Wild, it's been really difficult to tethered to a PC or to a console, and just to be able to have that and be anywhere in my apartment just to play. So it's been really difficult to sit down at my computer and go, all right, now it's time to play something, or now it's time to work, or now it's time to sleep. So
Mark with his enlightenment over here.
Jesus Christ, I didn't fall asleep till like 5 last night.
Elevated.
But get on my level, scrubs. It's Switch Master? No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. But so for folks watching and listening to this after the fact, I was invited to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Inner Geekdom Division, which is a big ol' geek movie trivia show. I'm in a Fatal 5-way that is going to be airing on February 13th. Please check it out, and I appreciate your support. Not a lot of people know who I am in the community, which is great because I hope to be making a big splash. And you can find me on Twitter at MarkBDonica, Stacey Shuttles, Dog Like Nate. Follow Patrick at P to the D's. Steve doesn't have a Twitter, but I forgot his Nightbot command.
If you tweet us, we will convey the message to him.
Yeah.
Hey!
Exclamation point, Engineer Steve and Chad, to learn a little bit more about this enigma of a man. Thank you so much for watching this episode, or listening to this episode of Inventory Full. Thanks again to the Popcorn Talk Network for hosting us here. We love you. We'll keep gaming, and we'll see you in France for development of the Mario movie. This got weird.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, and not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.